look like it's going fast.
I will say to you, though, we will reach a point where the U.S. dollar will become digital. Other global currencies will be digital. How then could Bitcoin be a store of value?
Yeah, look, if I'm the United States government sitting it from a rational seat, I think that they should tokenize the dollar immediately, right? If you look at China, they're tokenizing their currency. There's other countries that will follow. What's going to happen is there's not going to be a competition between digital and non-digital currencies. Every currency will be digital. What we're going to have is a competition of monetary policy. And if all of a sudden, let's say China has a digital yuan and we don't have a digital currency, it will be much more accessible for people to buy the Chinese yuan in other parts of the world than the U.S. dollar. And so you might see higher levels of adoption of the Chinese yuan than the U.S. dollar. So if we can tokenize or digitize the dollar fast and drive that adoption globally, we've got a chance to keep that as the global reserve currency.
But now, to Joe's point, why would you own Bitcoin if you could own the U.S. dollar?
I ultimately believe that people are going to opt for something that is not manipulatable, is not seizable, is not censorable.
Not debasable.
Not debasable, et cetera. And so I think people are going to continue slow at first, but over time, more and more people will choose a currency that a government does not control.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. It is another beautiful green day in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency land. We do have Bitcoin actually in the deep green, a lot of the top coins as well. Having a look right here, we did have that sort of low at around $5,600. And since then, we've been putting in a nice steady uptrend. Now, in yesterday's video, some people were speculating that maybe this is just a sort of bull trap. It's a total fake out. Others are saying, hey, that's it, the bottom is in. Well, interestingly enough, if we have a look at the way gold has sort of responded to the news about the Fed printing all of this money, gold is almost back at its recent local highs. So I want to talk about what is going on, why we're seeing this crazy pump in gold. Will Bitcoin also experience the same pump? That is something we're definitely going to go into today. I also want to talk about the US digital dollar and what that means for Bitcoin. Some people say it actually could be very good for Bitcoin. I want to get into that. And of course, we do have to talk about the short-term price movement because we're actually at a very interesting level on the Bitcoin charts. We're going to get into all that today. Super quick news. If that sounds good to you, well, you know what to do. If you're not subscribed, definitely consider it. We attempt to get videos out every single day. And without further ado, let's dive in. Giving it a quick refresh live, Bitcoin is in fact leading most of the pack today. If you do switch it to the Bitcoin comparative, you will notice a lot more red in the altcoins, which does mean today Bitcoin is kind of the place to be. Few exceptions. We have GX Chain up 50%, Nano, Quant Network, Ren Engine Energy, Nervos, Crypto.com, and Monero. However, the thing that is getting most investors excited is the fact that we are still above the 200 weekly. In fact, we closed a nice solid weekly candle last week above the 200 weekly. So that is sitting around the $5,500 level. Staying above this level right now is actually pretty bullish for Bitcoin, right? Now over here, Credible Crypto, and I do want to ask you guys before we get into this, he put out this tweet, right? And basically the Bitcoin bottom is, and the choices are already in, below 3.7K, but above 3.1K, or we're going to new lows below 3K. And actually the majority think that we have not put in the low yet. It is still somewhere between 3.1 and 3.7K. I do want to know what you think about that. I will drop the same poll above. Just click it and let me know what you guys think. Or if you don't want to, just drop your comment below. Do you think we've bottomed? Are we ready to basically go back to the moon? Let me know what you think. However, if we actually look at the historical market crashes in order, 1929 saw an 86% loss. The 2008 financial crisis saw a 56% loss. And actually having a look at 2020, we're only at about a 35% loss. So it's not even really as bad as it could be. Some are saying it's going to get a lot worse with the virus, which shall not be named. Possibly, we'll have to see about that, but super quick, diving into the charts, guys. We are headed back towards the 200 daily moving average, which of course would signal whether or not an asset is sort of in a bullish or bearish trend. Interestingly enough, we did finally break back out of this descending trend that we were stuck back in, and we did use it as support. So I'm very interested to see if this resistance will flip support. We do also have a CME futures gap at around 9,060, and not to mention the gap way up there at around $11,800. So will we actually close that gap? Well, Short term, let's just beat this resistance that we have, okay? So basically we had this support in the downwards trend, which is now currently acting as our resistance. So I would like to get above this. This actually held us during this sort of downtrend before we had the plummet. And currently right now, it is actually acting as our resistance. Now, if we were to break above the short-term resistance, the next level I'm looking at is around 7,160. And the reason for this being, this was the major VPVR accumulation level right here, when we had that sort of low, when we hit the 6.4K level originally, back in, November, December. Now, also, if we were to, let's say, break above that, we still have to get above this sort of short-term support that we had in the beginning of March, and that is around $7,860. So that is sort of on the short-term upside, okay? So you could look at a target of around 7,800. If we do, however, get rejected short-term, then we might revisit this level right here at around 6.1K, and then the VPVR once again, which had a lot of accumulation in this area down here, which was around the 5.4K. So those are sort of the levels that I'm looking at, in the bearish or the bullish side. Let me know what you guys think, though. Are you short-term bearish? Are you short-term bullish? What are you doing right now in the crypto space? Now, having a look at gold right here, you can see that gold from bottom to top, basically if we go to the bottom of this wick, all the way up to actually where it had wick this morning, gold had an impressive 17% pump, basically putting it right back to where it was. Now, if we have a look right here at this article on Zero Hedge, you can see that it says it's selling like toilet paper. If you haven't bought physical gold yet, it's probably too late. So you are hearing physical gold basically being sold out everywhere. No one can get their hands on it. And a lot of what we're seeing right now, this is just paper gold, right? Currently. But the question is, if this is happening to gold, will Bitcoin follow? Well, having a look at what Ari Paul said, he said until today, I was convinced we'd have to wait until at least a few months after equities bottom for the fiat hedges, gold, Bitcoin, to catch a strong bid in a sustained way. They're still risk assets, but Wall Street is focused on inflation and depreciation 10 times as much as 2009. Now, actually, having a look right here, if you look at what Eric Wall said, he says Bitcoin is basically about to outperform the S&P 500 on the 1 month chart right here. So actually, for those that saying Bitcoin isn't a good store of value or Bitcoin isn't a good hedge, well, time will tell, but it looks like Bitcoin is actually looking to outperform it relatively soon, right? We will have to discuss that situation. You have actually two Deutsche Bank strategists are warning over hyperinflation generated by the helicopter money. We do know what the Fed is looking to do, 4 trillion, basically endless amounts of printing, right?
What does the Fed say?
Now, scrolling down here, they said if the government tries to keep spending at these levels before lockdowns begin, while at the same time keeping lockdowns in place, there will be simply more money chasing after significantly fewer goods and services. The result of this will clearly be inflation. Now, a lot of people are asking the question, well, why pay taxes when they can just print endless money? I don't know. That's a good question. That is a very good question, and I wish I had the answer for that. However, what we do have currently is the newest offer by House Democrats, which includes a very forward-looking kind of stimulus, the creation of a digital dollar. Now, there was some conspiracy theorists saying like, oh, well, the fact that we have the virus which shall not be named, and people were saying, oh, don't take cash, don't deal with cash, cash is dirty, and that was all just a way to, get the digital dollar out there. Well, I want to talk about what exactly they're looking to do and why this actually could be bullish for Bitcoin. We're going to get into that in just a second. But essentially, you had these two different acts that were going to be passed by Nancy Pelosi and also Chairman Maxine Waters. So basically, the bill establishes a digital dollar, and this is their definition, as a balance expressed as a dollar value consisting of digital ledger entries that are recorded as liabilities in the accounts of any Federal Reserve Bank or an electronic unit of value redeemable by an eligible financial institution as determined by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System. Additionally, a digital dollar wallet is identified as a digital wallet or account maintained by a Federal Reserve Bank on behalf of any person that represents holding in an electronic device or service that is used to store digital dollars that may be tied to a digital or physical identity. Now, the question is, are these digital dollars actually going to be a cryptocurrency, or are they just simply going to be another form of, just sort of a number on a screen and we just transfer it back, whatever, in a centralized database? Now, the interesting thing is, if they do choose to go the cryptocurrency route, I do wonder what are going to be the limitations. This was the big problem that we were worried about with Facebook, right? We were worried about, what if you spend something and they disagree? Does your wallet get turned off? Do you lose all your funds? Can you get your entire account frozen? I mean, technically you can have that done now with your money in the bank, but you can't have your dollars cash frozen, right? And that's also one of the beauties about Bitcoin. Now you can see right here, additionally, they'd be looking for Postal Service to help them, the U.S. Postal Service, to help the unbanked individuals or those without paper ID to establish their identity to provide a digital dollar account, and would set up ATMs for customers to access their funds. So let me know what you guys think about this. They'd obviously be able to see everything you're spending your money on, everything you're doing. They would easily be able to freeze your accounts. So is this a little bit too much Orwellian surveillance? 1984 happening right now before our eyes. Let me know what you guys think about this. Now, according to Nathaniel Whitmore, a cryptocurrency analyst, this move could actually help Bitcoin. He explained this theory by pointing towards a theoretical 4-step process that could take place if this becomes a reality. So number one, you have introduced the digital dollar to ship stimulus payments. Number two, we have hundreds of millions of Americans getting their first digital wallet. Now, of course, we're assuming that this is cryptocurrency. Number three, trillions of dollars of stimulus, assuming the crisis goes longer than expected and has more of an economic impact than expected, will lead to the debasement of the dollar, which that's going to happen anyway. The dollar is going to get debased regardless. We already know we're having a 2 to 3% annual inflation. If we just start flooding the markets with more money, I'm sure it's going to get a lot worse, a lot faster. But this does lead us to number 4, which he says, do you really need me to say it? Bitcoin rises as many try to find a hedge against their devaluing dollar. In fact, Luke Martin came out and gave his opinion on it recently. If you haven't followed him at Venture Coinist, I do recommend it. He says businesses shutting down during a pandemic means lower earnings short term and lower chances of success. Risk assets selling off during pandemic means lower Bitcoin prices short term. And if anything, the current fiat experiment has increased Bitcoin's chance of long term success. Pierre says yes. I also agree. And let's not forget, we do have the halving coming up in about 50 days. And once everybody realizes how much difficult it's going to be to get Bitcoin, just like we were seeing over in this article for gold, well, I think it's only a matter of time until we see Bitcoin not only returning to at least some of its previous highs, maybe even breaking a new all-time high. Could it happen this year? It's possible, guys. It's possible. It's pretty crazy market out there. Pretty crazy world. That being said, yes, it is still difficult times. Unfortunately, there still are a lot of people that are currently facing potentially unemployment. Obviously, the virus has still not been stopped. The cases are increasing, especially here in New York. I'm pretty much just staying in my house, fully loaded, locked with food, everything. I'm just going to be in here making crypto videos. But that being said, let me know what you guys think about the situation. Do you think that Bitcoin, this is just a fake out, we're going to see some lower lows, or do you think that this is finally good and we are headed to some higher levels? Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for stopping by. Do consider getting subscribed if you haven't yet. I also do have a free Telegram group. I'll drop that in the links below. Totally free. Hang out with a bunch of people, talk about cryptocurrencies, and that is it for me today. Thank you so much once again for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. I love you. You're the reason that I do this, for the most part, every single day. Until next time, my name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Stay crypto. And of course,